Hello everybody, how you doing? So I was just sitting here just winding down ready for bed, and I was sort of just kind of thinking a little bit about what modifications I'd like to do in the near future, sort of what things I want to start focusing a bit more on. And I thought, well, since I'm sitting here doing nothing else, just thinking about it anyway, why not make a little video and I can share it? So yeah. Sorry if there's lots of noise, I've got a hamster out in a hamster ball at the moment, and she's bumping into absolutely everything, so you'll have to excuse the noise. But yeah. So yeah, I've sort of been thinking a little bit. So I've been looking at new jewellery and things, getting some jewellery for my nose and whatnot, and my ears and stuff. And I've been starting to think about a little bit about what I want to start focusing on more, because something I don't think I've mentioned it at all in the video actually. About 6 months ago, I actually quit work, and I've been doing pretty much nothing ever since, which has been really nice. Over the last 4 or 5 years now, I've been really heavily getting into investing and trading and that sort of stuff. And earlier this year, I was lucky enough to make a little bit of money, and it's been enough for me to essentially give up working, at least for the time being. And I've been focusing 100% on investing and that sort of thing, pretty much all day, every day for about the last 6 months. And it's been quite a change of lifestyle. I've been able to focus on a lot more things that I actually want to do. I've gotten a little bit back into weightlifting and stuff like that. I've been able to spend more time with my cats, which are they're actually everywhere at the moment. Got these two sitting here, got Millie over there. But yeah, it's freed up a lot of time, and it's allowed me to sort of think a little bit more about where I want to go with modifications and stuff, now that, at least for the time being, I don't have a job restricting what I can do, and hopefully I won't do for the foreseeable future. I've sort of been thinking a little bit more exactly about what I want to do, what I want to focus on, and I think 2022 I want to put a little bit more effort into pushing towards some more of my goals, which is something I've slacked off a bit over the last couple of years, because I sort of tried to be a little bit conservative just for the sake of work, and obviously I hadn't had the time or the money really to do stuff. But things are now things in that sort of situation now changing a little bit. So yeah, I was sort of sitting here thinking about exactly what I would like to do. I've just been looking at ordering some new jewellery. Oh, you'll have to excuse my hair. I've just literally just finished messing about exercising, so I'm a little bit sweaty and gross, so you'll have to excuse me. But yeah, so yeah, I literally just ordered some new bits for my nostrils at last. I think I spoke about that possibly, I think I possibly spoke about that in one of my last videos, but I've ordered some, just a couple of black Delrin plugs from Stonewolf Adornments. Finally, I've ordered a couple of bits of them in the past anyway, but I thought I would go back to them. So I had a few people recommend them anyway on one of the last videos where I asked where people are buying jewellery these days. And I have had good experience with them in the past anyway. And all I wanted was just some simple little black pieces, like literally just little black Delrin plugs for them. So I have them. I ordered them. A little bit annoyingly, I got the email confirmation saying it had all gone through, but they won't actually be made until January, which is still, well, when I ordered them, that's about 2 months away. So that's a little bit annoying. Had there been something that would have let me know it would have been quite so long before they'd be made, before I actually placed the order, I probably would have looked elsewhere. Just because the main reason I particularly want new jewellery for them is because of this side. Because these little tiny tunnels that I've got in them at the moment is just a little bit too long for this nostril. So where this one sits nice and flush with the actual nostril, this side, when I'm wearing the same piece, it actually gets pulled in, and it sort of kind of, it doesn't really cut into the tissue, but it's sort of dug in a bit, just enough to be slightly irritating. And I'm a little worried about that doing some sort of permanent damage to the tissue. I don't know whether it really would or not, but yeah, I'd rather get some jewellery made that's a little bit more appropriate, because the only other thing I have in 3.2 is this, which is obviously way too long, really. But yeah, it is what it is. Because I don't really have many piercings that sort of size anymore. So I've, at least for the next month or month and a half, I'll be wearing this giant ball on one side. It wouldn't be so bad if I had a matching pair. I quite like being symmetrical. But yeah, so I'm currently just wearing this daft thing in here. But on the flip side, the smallest I could actually order from them was 4mm, which is obviously the next size up from this. So I wasn't overly happy about the idea of stretching them quite so soon. But if they're not even being made until January, chances are they won't be finished until mid to late January, and by the time they get to me, it might even be February before I actually stretch them again. So maybe that's kind of worked out okay anyway. But yeah, whether or not, but yeah, so as I was saying, yeah, hopefully by the time they actually turn up, these will be nicely settled anyway. I forget exactly how long I've had them this size now anyway. I think it's been a good month or two. So hopefully by the time they turn up in, excuse me, February, sort of January, February time, it'll be 3 or 4 months anyway. So fingers crossed they'll be more than comfortable to stretch then. So in a way that's kind of worked out well, because obviously it means I won't be stretching them too quickly. Sorry, I'm just keeping an eye on the hamster. Just about this time every night, she always likes to come out for a little run around in the ball. If I didn't put her in the ball now, she'd be in the cage chewing the gate, trying to get it open. And that would just be even more annoying than her crashing into things while I'm trying to make a video. So yeah. But yeah, so other than that, other jewellery I'd like to get fairly soon. Probably from, I'm not sure, I've got a couple of places I might pick some stuff up from. Either Esoteric Organics, or I might even ask, might just get in touch with South Shore Adornments and ask, no, sorry, not South Shore, Stonewolf Adornments, and ask if they actually make things bigger than 3-inch, because these are now up to I think they're about 78mm, and I'll hopefully go up to 80 in the near future. So finally getting back on track with building these up again. The other pieces of jewellery I have, I think the next size up that I actually still have, that I haven't lost, is about 84mm. So I'm going to need a couple of pieces made in between then to get back up to that size. I can use them again once I get there. I'm not gonna waste money getting something new made when I already have stuff. But I've lost a lot of the pieces that I've had over the years, and that was strange. I don't know if you could hear that. That's I think the kitten is dreaming. Is she gonna do it again? No, she stopped now. Typical. I'll try and get it on video. She does that again. I think she looked like she was eating something in her sleep. Got Gwen up here as well. But yeah, anyway. So I will I'll need to get some 80mm pieces made, and probably I'll get some 82s made as well. I'm fairly certain the pieces I've got in my little box are 84. I will measure them properly at some point. But I've just lost so many random pieces. I've got like individual pieces in sizes, and I'm missing other sizes that I've just lost completely and stuff like that. So I will need to get a few bits and bobs made. And the other thing jewellery wise that I will also get from Stonewolf Adornments. I don't know why I didn't order it to begin at the same time as my nostrils actually. I finally want to sort myself out and get a nice black septum tunnel, because obviously this one's white. I don't particularly like the look of the white. I don't particularly care in the grand scheme of things, but it would just be nice to have like the final piece of jewellery. I will probably, as I've mentioned before, I'll probably attempt to get it back up to 26 and then have a nice black piece made. And that will be the final piece of jewellery I ever actually wear for it, probably. Other than might get some random fancy stuff made just for a bit of fun, but as a daily, everyday piece of jewellery, that will be the last thing I get made for that. And then it will sit at 26mm for forever until either I can get the thin spot fixed, and if I can do that, and I'm still not even certain that'll actually be possible, but if I can do that, then I might again try to get it up to 30mm, but that'll be in far, far distant future. But yeah, so that's the stuff I'm looking at doing in the very near future. Hopefully in the next sort of month or two, a couple of weeks, I'll start ordering new bits and bobs for that. Also, something I may actually attempt to do before the end of this year. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm going to give my conch another go, getting up to 17. Because obviously this one has been at 17 for probably the best part of it, a year now. Maybe even more than that, actually. I'll have to look back at my old videos and just to find out exactly how long it's been. I've tried this one, I think, twice now. Obviously, conch stretching is not the easiest piercings to stretch. They swell up and they get really uncomfortable, and I've found almost every time I attempt to stretch my conches up, almost every time I attempt to stretch my conches up, it takes 2 or 3 attempts to get it to finally settle in at a new size. So I think this will be attempt number 3. But over the next couple of weeks, I have my best friend's birthday, I have my wife's birthday, obviously Christmas and all that sort of stuff coming up. So I might just wait until that's all out the way, so then I can just lay in bed for a week and feel sorry for myself with my ear throbbing, and I won't have to worry about anything. I've got like a couple of gigs and things coming up for friends' birthdays and stuff like that. So I might do that before Christmas, maybe in the week between Christmas and New Year's. Give that another go and see how that all feels. But we'll see exactly about how that goes. But that will hopefully be in the near future. So that'll probably be the next actual real modification I do. Other than ordering new jewellery, obviously, which isn't really a new modification, you know what I mean. But yeah, so like I said, I've been thinking a little bit about what I might try and get done next year. The first thing I might try and look into getting booked is getting some more work done on my arms. I'm so lazy at getting all that booked and sorted out, because I just don't really care about tattoos. They are on my list of modifications. They are pretty much at the absolute bottom of the stuff I'm bothered about getting done. But at the same time, I think it's been about 2 years now since I've had anything done. It's just been like this for the last 2 years. So I just got a message from a friend. So yeah, certainly at least this arm as well, I would like to get a little bit more filled in. What I might well do, because my friend who does this, he obviously was a tattooist here in Ipswich. He's now relocated and primarily works out of Leeds. So I may well get in touch with him at the start of next year and see if he'd consider doing maybe even something literally like 2 solid days back to back and just blast through my arms and get them both completely finished. Because obviously all these little patterny bits, they were his idea, and he's going to do something similar on the inside of this arm, because I just wanted them completely black. And eventually I will have all that filled in solid black, and then I want to do a few little experiments, try different patterns and different styles and different colours over the top of the black, because I'm just very curious to see how different things will turn out. So I've got a few little experiments I'd like to do with that. But the first step will be get the arms tattooed solid black. On the shoulders, what I'm planning on doing is I'll carry the solid black all the way up to sort of roughly about here, but on each side I just want I want the Anarchist A symbol on this shoulder and the Bitcoin B symbol on this shoulder, just because I think anybody who doesn't actually know what they mean, they'll be wondering why I have A and B tattooed on my shoulders, and that'll just make me laugh. So yeah, that's kind of why I want to do that. But yeah, so I'll get that done as well. But that won't, rather than have them actually tattooed, I'll just leave that as sort of the negative space, if that makes sense. So that's something I'll do. That's something I'll discuss with him, and hopefully, because he knows me, I've known him for probably 20 years. He knows I like to push things as hard as I can and test my limits. So I will ask him if he'd actually consider maybe even doing 2 solid days back to back and literally just blasting through everything. I know that's not something he would normally recommend people do, but like I say, he knows me, he knows what I'm like, and he knows I like to push myself and sort of test my limits and see how far I can go with things. I mean, if that isn't obvious enough already. So that'll be good fun. That will be, it would be nice to try and do that sort of stuff before festival season really kicks off again next year. Obviously now the whole world is getting a little bit more back to normal and festivals and things are starting to pick up again. So hopefully I'll be able to get that done in the first half of next year or something like that, perhaps. I'll get in touch with him after Christmas and see exactly what he says about that. Other things I've been thinking about, obviously continuing to stretch everything. I would like to try, because this is now 17, I believe. I would like to try and get them, both my conchas, up to 19 or 20 by the end of next year. Because I am planning, I think I mentioned it before, I'm planning on giving them a good, real long break at some point. Just because conch stretching is not fun, and it's quite intense for the tissue and the actual cartilage in the ear. So it's always good to give them a real long break from time to time. And I haven't really given them a proper break. I only stretch them once or twice a year at most anyway, but I haven't really given them a long, consistent break in years and years now. So I think that would probably be a good idea to actually set my sights on a local goal and then give them maybe literally 4 or 5 years off and just not touch them at all. To be honest, I doubt I could leave it that long, but even if I can give them a couple of years off, that will really allow them to settle in and just be nice and comfy and happy. So I might, because I had thought of just going to 19mm, because then that's just 2 more sizes up. But I think if I got that close to 20, I would just want to get them up to 20mm. So I might aim to do that by the end of next year. I don't know if I actually will. I don't really like stretching them more than once every 6 months at the very most. So that might be something that even bleeds into 2023. But it's something to aim for anyway. Other things, obviously, I'm thinking about, like I said, getting the septum back up to 26, and that will sit there for good now then. And my actual nostrils, I will probably, like I said, the jewellery I've ordered is 4mm, so that'll be about January time. So maybe 6mm, somewhere around there by the end of the year. It depends on how quickly I stretch them, because I might try going up in 0.5mm just to see how that goes, or do a little experiment to see whether or not I can get away with doing full millimeters at a time. I don't know whether I'll do that or not. I'm undecided, but excuse me, sorry. Oh, I could do some water. But yeah, that I will. Perhaps I'll shoot for roughly 6mm by the end of the year, somewhere around there. And so that's all for the actual piercings I've got. And I've been thinking a lot about what other new stuff I would actually quite like to do. And piercing wise, I might get something done in the outsides of my ears. I've always wanted, so maybe 3 or 4 large stretched piercings in the outer conch area and sort of the outer flat area, whatever you want to call it. But I've always thought I would like to stretch these up to whatever size they end up being at before getting anything else pierced in the sort of outer ear. But my problem is I have a funny feeling, same as my lobes, I'm just going to keep stretching them for forever and ever and ever. And so that would obviously, waiting for that to be over is obviously going to be like another decade or 2. So yeah, what I might well consider doing is getting started on something else before that happens. So that might well be something to do this year as well. I'm also been thinking a little bit about what to do with my bridge, because obviously my bridge came out. I don't know if I spoke about that or not. I think I took that out during the period where I wasn't really making many videos. But my old glasses, they didn't have the little, let me show you. Like these glasses have the little silicone pads that rest on your nose. The glasses I was wearing before that, they didn't have solid pads. So literally the bridge of the glasses literally sat directly on the bridge, the actual bridge piercing itself. Because that was already, how big did I get that? I think I had that stretch up to about 4mm. So that was constantly sitting right on the glasses and rubbing and irritating it. and I was wearing them for about 2 years, and after a while that actually it started to cause it to not actually reject, but it just became enormous scars that were constantly irritated and pussy. So I ended up taking them out. I don't know how well you can see because I don't think I've ever really shown it. That side in particular is quite a large scar, but I've been kind of thinking about having it re-pierced at some point. I wasn't going to bother previously, but especially lately I've kind of been not missing it, but just kind of wanting it back. So what I am considering doing possibly is actually looking for someone who can actually cut some of the scar tissue out, possibly, and then either re-piercing it and stretching it again, or possibly having just 2 small piercings put in and not stretching them. But I will think more about that as the time goes by, about exactly how I want to go about that. As I have even considered just having it re-pierced without worrying about the scars. I don't care about how the scars look. It's just a case of I think they might interfere with the healing of new piercings. So I think maybe seeing if I can find someone to actually remove the scars, so it's a little bit flatter and a little bit easier to actually re-pierce and start again. Other than that, I've also been thinking about lip plates again. I know that's something I've talked about pretty much as long as I've had this channel, but a Facebook friend of mine recently stretched his lip up to 30mm, and I absolutely love it. I'm such a massive fan of lip plates. I mean, I think I've said before, my idea long term would be to, however big my ears end up being, I would like my lip plate to be either the same size or potentially slightly bigger. So come the day I actually do start stretching it, it's going to be very big. And I think I've said before, I would like my ears at minimum to be about 5 inch. So obviously that would be a very big lip plate. And with the, like I say, my financial situation now, not being in a situation where I desperately need to go to work, something like that, which would be something understandably employers might look down upon. That's no longer a concern, really. So that might well be something I actually start considering doing this year and getting started on that as well. How I would go about that, I don't quite know. I always thought to myself I would like to start just with a tiny little piercing and stretch up right from real tiny normal sort of 16 gauge size. But I don't know, sometimes I consider actually having it scalpeled in just to start with, just to maybe like a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch or something out to start with. Because I actually only have a very small bottom lip, so that might restrict how large I can actually start with for that. And other things I have considered as far as the lip plate goes is actually having some of my bottom teeth removed, just so when it gets really big, it would be able to sit in there a lot more comfortably. But I mean, that would be something far down the road, sort of when I'm sort of 50 or 60 or something like that. So again, that something like that would be decades away again. So, but yeah, that's all things to think about and consider. What else was there? There was something else, but I forget exactly what it was. Other than that, just if I do get my arms complete this year, then moving on to other things. So I would like, basically most of my body I would like to be solid black. I've always really liked the idea of sort of feet up to about my knees. I really like the idea of just having long grass tattooed on them. I don't really know exactly why, but I don't know, just then it would feel like I'm just always walking through grass, and I love being out in nature and anything outside and in the wilderness, just away from people I love. So I don't know, I really like the idea of just having like long grass and plants tattooed all the way up to sort of above my knees, and then the rest of my legs and like my glutes and my back and whatnot probably sort of more or less solid black. And I would eventually like to have my head, and I think I might have even mentioned before, my ears just around the rim, then around the lobe, tattooed solid black as well. But again, I would leave that until I've finished tattooing my finished stretching my lobes. So again, all that'll be a long way away. And something else I have been considering more and more recently as well is eyeball tattoos. I've always absolutely loved the look, particularly of sort of brightly coloured eyeball tattoos. But again, because of the whole work thing, that's something I've put off, and whether I would go through with it or not, I don't quite know still. Just because that's quite a serious thing. Like, all modifications come with some, at least a small element of risk. Even like a simple tattoo on your arm, it can get infected, or it can cause scars. There's all sorts of little things that can happen, even with the most common things. And when it comes to your eyeballs, I quite value my eyesight. Obviously, even now, I already have to wear glasses. So the thought of having modifications done to my eyes does make me a little bit nervous, just because I obviously don't want to lose my eyesight. So whether or not I will ever actually do that or not, I don't know. But again, just because of the situation I'm in now, where I don't need to worry so much about work, I've been thinking a little bit more about some of these heavier mods. So that's something I've been thinking a lot more seriously about recently. If I were to get them tattooed, I would get them... I like the idea of being sort of a very pale blue, so almost like a sky blue. I think personally I'd quite like that, rather than being like a dark colour, like a solid black or something, if I ever were to do that. Plus, I have no doubt eventually, again decades down the line, I will probably end up with lots of solid black all over my face. So maybe, you know, your geometric type patterns, or just solid strips of black or something. I think quite something like a light pale colour would contrast quite well against lots of solid black in the face. So again, that's something else further down the line I might do. But yeah, originally I was talking about 2022. That probably won't happen in 2022. But we'll see. So yeah, that's more or less everything, I think. I still like the idea of someday having things like horns implanted in my head, but that will be, again, that certainly won't be next year. So yeah, fingers crossed. So a little recap. What did I say? Stretching and all that sort of stuff. Bigger ears. So by the end of next year, I would like to get my ears back up. They certainly won't be 90 by the end of next year, but hopefully they'll be getting close. Maybe 84, 86, depending on how the stretches go. The septum, I will finally finish off, get it back to 26, and that will be that there. Possibly starting work on a lip plate, possibly doing something with my bridge again, and yeah, nostrils, see if I can get them up to maybe 6mm, something like that next year. And obviously just more black ink all over the place. So that will be something. All little things to consider. How much of this will actually happen, I don't know, because I'm always just very lazy and slow to get things sorted out. I always like to really consider everything I do before I do it, so that then makes me think and rethink and reconsider things. So I'm always really slow to get things actually planned out and actually started. But yeah, we'll see exactly where we end up by the end of this year. We'll see what I actually do. We'll see if there's anything new I actually come up with. Because I'm always thinking of random things, getting inspiration from other people that I see do things, or thinking of my own little ideas I'd like to try. But we'll see. We'll see what next year comes up with. But yeah, thought I would just make a fun little video there, just because I was sitting here doing nothing, thinking about it. Anyway, it's now gone midnight, and I was tired before I even started this video, so I'm going to call it quits there. Coming up for the 30-minute mark now. I hadn't expected to talk for that long either. Anyway, yeah, ta-ra for now. I will make another video of some description in the semi-near future. And yeah, I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else pressing to say. Ta-ra for now. I'll say goodnight from the kitten. And she's not much of a kitten anymore. She's grown quite considerably. Anyway, yeah, ta-ra for now. hopefully you enjoy the video, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.